Good morning, members, and welcome to this meeting of the Pension Subcommittee on the 19th of February. This afternoon, sorry. It's a rarity. Just before we move into this round, and apologies, this is a slightly different format. We usually have a joint meeting between the Pension Board and the Pension Subcommittee. For this decision, it is solely a Pension Subcommittee meeting, and the Board have been invited to attend as observers for this decision. David? Pass over to Andy.
As you say, I mean, you scrutinise the decisions, so it's to give you the opportunity to see that any decisions made today are made appropriately and with taking appropriate advice, etc. So that's why you've been asked along to the meeting today.
Normally, a joint meeting, we have the ability to ask questions. And clearly, we can't do that today because the role we've been given today is as observers only. Now, that does seem to be quite a change to the principle of the joint meetings. So I'm a little bit concerned that somebody's made the decision to, from a governance point of view, to do it this way. I'll just ask you to note that for the time being, otherwise we'll be here all day arguing about it.
Yep. Ian?
Without getting into detail, there's another committee in the council where we actually allow other members to, if they've got a particular question, to ask. It's through at the discretion of the chair. So I suppose it's at your discretion, really, Adam.
I think it's fair to say that, I think you're a little bit more than observers, and I think if you do have any questions over the course of the meeting today, then I'll happily take them. Is that okay for today's meeting?
Well, if I could just ask you to ask the question of governance as to why this situation arose, because clearly it's not the way that the pension board should be treated. No.
Okay. Clearly, thank you. I did ask the question myself as to why this wasn't a joint meeting, why there was no board meeting called for today. The advice given was that clearly it's the pension subcommittee that make the decision, and you're here, so you'd have that level of information for going forwards. But I take on board all your comments, and clearly it's not somewhere we. Okay.
Could I ask that the roles of the two groups are put on as an agenda item at the next meeting, so that everybody's absolutely clear as to what we actually do and why we're doing it?
2 seconds, I'll bring in Andy.
Yeah, I mean, the intention, I said it's that the reason for this meeting today is to make a decision on a one-item agenda, basically. And as I said before, the board were invited along, so that they could utilise their role as governance and overseers of the committee in the decision-making process. But it is also the intention, and apologies if this wasn't made clear, in previous committees prior to the board, when the unions had observer status, they were invited along and they took part in all discussions, etc., questioning, but they didn't take part in the actual decision-making process. And it's probably an oversight on my behalf that I was anticipating that the board would be coming into this meeting on the same basis, take part, oversee the process, but not take part in the decision-making process at the end of the day.
I know your concern. I think that I'll happily take questions from the board, like it's a normal meeting, and if we're okay, we'll move on. And I think that you've got a fair suggestion about the next meeting. I think that's something we'll take up, not just at the next meeting, but in between times as well. So, apologies, please, Claire.
Thank you, Chair. We've got 10 members present this afternoon even. Apologies from Stephen Thompson.
Have any members got any declarations of interest? Nope. So we'll move on to the selection of an alternative income asset fund. And first of all, First of all, I need to ask you to consider the adoption of the resolution to exclude the public from the meeting in terms of section 50A4 and paragraphs 6 and 9 of Part 1 of Schedule 7A of the Local Government Scotland Act 1973. We're happy to do so? Great. Now we'll move on to the selection of Alternative Income Assets Fund. And to begin with, I'll ask Paul from Hymans Robertson to provide an introduction for us.
Okay, thank you. Just say a few things before we